Live across Queensland, this is 7 News with Katrina Blowers.
Good afternoon. Our top stories on 7. A slight drop in inflation, but it won't last. What the Iran war could mean for interest rates. More petrol stations run dry as businesses big and small begin passing on the extra costs. A first look at what the Olympic Stadium will really look like as preparations are underway to close Victoria Park. And a special final stop for the King's Commonwealth Games Baton relay on its tour of Australia. Hello, we've got a little good news today on the inflation front, with the latest figures showing a small drop in February. However, as Josh Martin reports from Canberra, it's unlikely to be much of a reprieve, with the impacts of Donald Trump's war with Iran yet to be measured.
Good afternoon. We will see the impact of fuel prices in the data for March, and economists say inflation could soar above 5%. But for the 12 months to February, headline inflation came in at 3.7%, down from 3.8% in January, and underlying inflation held at 3.3%, still above the Reserve Bank's target range. The biggest rises were in rents, food and recreation. The sky-high petrol and diesel prices we are seeing now at the Bowser aren't reflected in the February figures.
We know that the pressure will be upwards from here, and that the war in the Middle East will make inflation higher for longer. The end of this war can't come soon enough for the economy.
So fuel is going to go up more and more, and then you're going to see these businesses, industries, farming, everyone that's going to go under. Then you increase cost for the mums and dads to try and buy their food. It is a crisis.
An interest rate hike is still possible at the next Reserve Bank board meeting in May, but the surging fuel prices could take demand out of the economy, leading some experts to believe the RBA will hold off.
Best guess for mine is that rates don't rise from here. They'll stay stuck for a while. The president of the US and the regime in Iran is going to have a big impact on living standards in Australia.
Jim Chalmers has told business leaders that the economic shock from Iran could be worse than COVID and the global financial crisis. A bumpy road ahead.
Yes, and Queenslanders are beginning to feel that full impact of the fuel crisis, not only at the Bowser, but in the cost of just about everything, from hiring a plumber to catching a cab. As Mel Whiteman reports, the increasing pressure comes as more petrol stations run dry.
As the cost to fill up at the Bowser climbed, so too does pressure on virtually every sector of the economy. Truck drivers, farmers, fruit and veg stores. Tradies, rubbish collectors, small business owners, all are paying the price for the war in the Middle East. Plumbing companies like Two Brothers in Brendale are facing a double blow. Their fuel bill has more than doubled in the last month, and they're now bracing for the cost of materials like pipes to go up by more than 30%.
It could go two ways. I'll have to start putting off guys and downsizing because I've got to wear the cost somewhere, or it will shut me down, to be honest, because it's a big increase and I've got to wear those costs, and unfortunately you can only wear those costs for so long. It's like a pandemic for us in the plumbing industry.
Many businesses are introducing or increasing their fuel surcharge, including Australia Post and Black and White cabs.
We've increased the price and put a temporary fuel charge in place. There has to be some cost recovery for our industry. It's very difficult for taxi drivers with these huge cost increases.
Today, 55 Queensland petrol stations have no diesel, 35 have run dry of regular unleaded. We will bring you the full story, including more details about what this means for Queenslanders in 7 News at 6.
Donald Trump claims he's close to a peace deal with Iran, saying it's given the US a big and very expensive present. What that means, the president won't say, but the uncertainty continues to see the price of oil bounce around. Europe correspondent Jacqueline Robson reports.
Well, it's been a turbulent couple of days for the oil price, firstly dropping by 14% when Donald Trump announced there were talks happening with Iran. Then it shot back up to over $100 a barrel when Iran denied that these talks were ever happening. The US president was speaking in the White House today, saying that Iran desperately wants to make a deal, that they've been wiped out militarily and that the US has won this war. He has also made a massive claim that Iran has agreed to no longer desire or want to have a nuclear weapon ever. That's one of the big objectives of this war. If that is true, it would be a massive development. He also says they've made concessions on the Strait of Hormuz, offering a gift worth big money.
They're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. And it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people.
Is that nuclear related?
No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related.
Now, there has been the suggestion that there could be face-to-face talks between the two countries in Pakistan over the coming days. We're yet to hear any confirmation from Iran on that. It comes as Iran's top military commander has suggested that the forces will keep fighting until there is complete victory. And there has been plenty of fighting across the Middle East today. Israel and Hezbollah trading blows. There has been big Israeli strikes in the southern part of Lebanon, wiping out buildings. And here in Tel Aviv, another Iranian missile was able to sneak past the Iron Dome, smashing into a residential area, destroying apartments, setting cars on fire. And tonight there has been fresh cluster warheads being sent over, causing extensive damage.
ABC staff around the country have walked off the job for 24 hours today, demanding higher pay. They filed out of the broadcaster studios and offices this morning.
This is the first time in 20 years that together we've gone out on strike. Incredible.
News programs are being replaced. ABC News 24 is running BBC World programming and managers are filling in as radio show hosts. Workers have turned down a 10% increase. Detectives have made more arrests in the case of a Sydney grandfather mistakenly kidnapped, tortured and murdered. This morning, police arrested a man believed to have been involved in the killing and a woman who may have been an accomplice. Clementine Cuneo reports.
It was just after 6 a.m. when tactical officers stormed the house and arrested a young couple, one of whom they will allege was the mastermind in the kidnapping and murder plot. That man, 23-year-old Declan Donnelly, was taken to Riverstone Police Station where he was charged with the kidnapping and murder of Mr Bagzarian. His girlfriend, 23-year-old Janessa Thurston, was also arrested, but she has not been charged over the grandfather's death. Police will allege Donnelly was contracted to carry out the kidnapping of an underworld figure's relative and that he recruited others to assist, including two men who were charged last month. But on February 13, when Donnelly and two accomplices who have not been located went to the North Ryde home, they allegedly got the wrong house and mistakenly abducted innocent Mr Bagzarian. Detectives say there were more involved and more arrests to come.
We believe up to 9 people were involved in this, and we will continue the investigation to identify those that were involved, no matter what part they played.
Neighbours saying the arrests today came as a shock. The pair had only moved in a few weeks ago. Multiple guns, ammunition and drugs were also allegedly found at the house. Donnelly remains here at Riverstone Police Station. He will spend the night in custody and will face Blacktown Local Court tomorrow.
A Sydney teenager has been charged with planning acts of violence after an investigation by Counter-terrorism police. In December, a raid on his home seized a gel blaster and a flick knife. A 16-year-old boy was arrested and later bailed on weapons charges. He's now been charged with collecting and preparing documents likely to facilitate a terrorist act and possessing violent extremist material. If convicted, he could face up to 15 years jail. Motorists are being warned the Story Bridge will close over the Easter school holidays to undergo maintenance. It will shut down totally for 16 hours while there'll be partial lane closures for 9 days.
We're asking Brisbane residents to be aware of these changes to the traffic network in the lead up to the Easter long weekend when they're planning their travel.
Upgrades will include concrete slab repairs and inspections at a cost to ratepayers of $5 million. Now for a look at the weather, Tony, a bit more sunshine out there today.
Yes, Katrina, a slight change of wind direction and our skies have cleared up. This was the view over Brisbane a short time ago. Not too bad at all. Temperatures starting to climb, 20 overnight in Brisbane before reaching a top of 31. Archerfield a touch hotter on 32 degrees. Most coastal locations around 28 or 29. While winds have eased back on the beaches thanks to a low moving further away, wave heights have continued to build and a hazardous surf warning remains current for Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast and Gari beaches. Having said that, with favourable southerly winds, we're seeing some great conditions for experienced surfers on the Gold and Sunshine Coast point breaks. These shots from Snapper Rocks as the sets came in well overhead. There were a few barrels on offer earlier this morning on the low tide while surfers were carving on some bigger open faces with these shots on the higher tide. I don't think there was too much work getting done on the coast today, and even hotter tomorrow. Katrina, I'll be back soon with the forecast.
Thank you, Tony. Well, coming up in 7 News, no charges for a TV tough guy who repeatedly punched a neighbour on a suburban footpath. 2 teens arrested over a stabbing attack at a Cairns bus stop, and a Russian drone hits a World Heritage listed church in Ukraine.
Shark Watch from the sky. An exclusive investigation into the incredible technology keeping us safe at beaches across Australia. Plus, Julie Goodwin is serving up a simple and delicious feast to keep tummies happy over the coming Easter break. Start with sunrise.
Well, 2 teens have been arrested accused of stabbing a stranger at a bus stop outside a Cairns shopping centre early this morning. Police say the knife was plunged into the victim's chest as he was being robbed. The attack came after the boys allegedly assaulted 2 other people in the same area earlier.
We have a 17-year-old male and an 18-year-old male in custody. I can say that they weren't on bail or subject to any current police matters.
The pair are expected to face court tomorrow. The actor who plays the tough guy lead in the hit TV series Reacher won't be charged after a violent confrontation with a neighbour. Alan Richardson punched the man several times as he cowered on the footpath following an argument about riding motorbikes.
Police clearing TV star Alan Richardson of any wrongdoing following a violent confrontation caught on camera. Video obtained by TMZ appears to show the actor repeatedly striking a man, but authorities now say he acted in self-defense.
I'm just warming up.
The 43-year-old actor, known for his commanding physical presence, stars in the hit Prime Video show Reacher.
You looking for payback? Payback, justice, vengeance.
New body cam footage viewed by investigators shows the moments leading up to the fight.
Are you kidding me, bro?
The video begins with Richardson on a green motorbike when a man steps out in front of him. That man, Rodney Taylor, told TMZ he stopped Richardson for riding at high speeds through their neighborhood outside Nashville. The argument turning explosive in seconds. Then it gets physical. Watch as Taylor appears to push Richardson and is then shoved to the ground. Taylor claiming the actor hit him in the face and kicked him as 2 children looked on. Tonight, Brentwood police telling our affiliate WSMV authorities considered a reckless endangerment charge, but Richardson declined to pursue it against the neighbor, and the case is now closed.
Well, investigators in New York are looking at a runway safety system at LaGuardia Airport as the cause of Monday's crash between a fire truck and a passenger jet. Unlike at other US airports, the fire truck wasn't equipped with a transponder.
SDX did not generate an alert due to the close proximity of vehicles merging and unmerging near the runway, resulting in the inability to create a track of high confidence.
There were only 2 controllers in the tower at the time of the collision. A World Heritage listed church in Ukraine has been severely damaged by a Russian drone strike. 13 people on the street and in an adjacent apartment block were wounded. St Andrew's Church was built in the 17th century. The drone was just one of 400 launched by Russia overnight. And activists have targeted the super yacht owned by prominent Donald Trump supporter Larry Ellison. They unfurled a sticker on the hull reading "The Trump Propagandist" as it sat moored on the French Riviera. The group, led by Dockies, accuses Ellison and his family of using their control of TikTok in America to silence pro-Palestinian voices. In just a moment, the King's Commonwealth Games Baton makes its last stop. It pays a visit to a very special place in the life of Aussie swimming's golden girl. And in sport, the Titans' Big Tino not happy with himself, but backs the coaching staff.
Seven News, connecting you first.
7 News can reveal the government will strengthen laws.
Connecting sport.
The Broncos are engulfed in fresh drama.
Connecting Queensland.
The Australian Baton will join 73 others.
We connect people with people.
7 News, connecting you.
The Glasgow Commonwealth Games are now just 4 months away and excitement is building. Today, the King's Baton Relay is making the final stop on its Australian tour in the hands of swimming's golden girl, Ariane Titmus. As Xander Maguire reports, she and it paid a visit to a very special place from her past.
She's won 7 Commonwealth Games gold medals and claimed 4 Olympic titles. Today, Ariane Titmus was back at the pool where it all started. Carrying the Com Games baton as a part of the King's Baton Relay, she brought it back to the Ariane Titmus pool, the very place where her swimming dream and career started and where she's inspiring hundreds more. For years, these aspiring Tasmanian swimmers looked to Arnie's mural on the wall. Today, many were in disbelief that they had the opportunity to meet her in the flesh.
It is really full circle. I mean, I started swimming here when I was 10 years old, and every little kid probably has a dream of winning gold medals and representing your country at a meet like the Commonwealth Games. And so to see my name up there and the mural, it is still pinch yourself stuff. You can have a career and do everything you ever dreamt of, but it still sometimes doesn't feel real. And I just feel very proud and very honoured that my hometown still really embraces me and supports me. And I always make it known that I'm Tasmanian and I'm from Launceston. Doesn't matter where you live, I grew up here, I'm born and bred, and I always try to tell people that.
Ariane Titmus transcends celebrity status here in Tassie, and the old saying of never meet your heroes certainly doesn't apply to her. She spent hours chatting with aspiring swimmers, giving them advice and talking to adoring fans. She really is the embodiment of the spirit of the Commonwealth Games, which of course are only 120 days away in Glasgow.
How about that? What a special day for your daughter, Steve. I know, you were having a little wipe away during that story.
I remember 4:30 in the morning too in the freezing cold.
Jeez, you would have spent some mornings at that pool. Over to you.
With the departed Broncos defensive coach Ben Teo looking for a new club, Titans captain Tino Fa'asuamaleaui has thrown his support behind the Gold Coast coaching staff in the face of their winless start to the season. The Titans have leaked 98 points across the opening 3 rounds.
Much as we haven't been getting the results, got a real good connection with our coaching staff. They've brought a lot here, and we just got to start getting results for them and everyone that believes in us.
Titans coach Josh Hannay supports Teo, recommending him to Maroons coach Billy Slater. At the NRL judiciary last night, another hammer blow for the winless Dragons. Ryan Couchman suspended for 4 matches for a hip drop tackle. Tackle left Parramatta's Jermaine Hopgood with a season-ending knee injury.
Obviously, yeah, it's disappointing that I'm not going to be able to play footy, but yeah, I made a mistake, so I'll cop the 4 weeks.
Couchman will be available to return on Anzac Day against the Roosters. He hadn't set foot in Australia until this week, but going to the World Cup as a Socceroo is now a very real possibility for Ante Sciutto. A striker for Scottish side Hibernian, Sciutto is one of the bolters in the squad for the friendlies against Cameroon and Curaçao. Born in Croatia, Šuto's eligible to play for Australia through his father, Anthony, who's from Melbourne, and he loves his Vegemite.
He's been bringing that home since I was a kid, and I don't like it, to be fair, yeah. I know all the stuff about Australia. I know about the weather. I know about the spiders and all that.
The Aussies, I should say, take on Cameroon at Accor Stadium on Friday night. Fresh off setting a new 50-metre freestyle world record, Cam McAvoy says he could even go faster. It's the clearest sign yet that the professor is aiming for more Olympic gold with the LA Games and Brisbane 2032 within his reach.
I'm still processing it. That was more of a target for the end of the season, so to have hit it at the moment in March is really special.
McAvoy swam 20.88 at the China Open, smashing his rivals and a 17-year-old record. Absolutely an extraordinary swim. We'll have a further chat to Cam in the news at 6.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you, Steve. Well, after the break in the afternoon news, the countdown to closure. Victoria Park set to become an Olympic Stadium work site within months. Parents alarmed as violent videos of students brawling circulate in Brisbane schools. And later, after the weather, is Celine Dion preparing to tour the world again.
Live across Queensland, this is 7 News with Katrina Blowers.
Welcome back. Let's recap our top stories this afternoon. And there's been a slight fall in inflation, but the government is warning it won't last. The figures are yet to take account of the impact of Donald Trump's war with Iran. Queensland businesses, big and small, are warning customers to brace for increased prices and charges as skyrocketing fuel prices bite. Meanwhile, the number of petrol stations running dry is on the rise. And thousands of ABC on-air and back office staff have walked off the job for 24 hours, pushing for a better pay deal. They've turned down an offer of a 10% pay raise. We've been given a fresh look at Brisbane's marquee Olympics build, with new renders revealing how the Victoria Park Stadium will actually look and exactly where it will sit. State political editor Marlena Watt reports.
Well, from June 1, Victoria Park will start being closed off to the public to make way for bulldozers. The Deputy Premier has given an update on the 2032 Olympics and Paralympics, releasing new design plans for Brisbane Stadium. The $3.8 billion stadium will include 63,000 seats in shaded areas and giant digital screens. It will have a playing field the size of the MCG, with one side running across Gilchrist Avenue, connecting to the Hurston Metro station and then the train station at the RNA Showgrounds. During his appearance at the Queensland Media Club this afternoon, Jared Blay has outlined what will happen in the next few months at Victoria Park.
You're going to see bulldozers, you're going to see excavators, and unfortunately it will not be able to be used between 1 June and 2032.
It's been a year since the Crisafulli government unveiled its delivery plan for 2032, and even though a 17,000-seat arena and entertainment precinct at Woolloongabba is not an official venue, the Deputy Premier says it could be used for the Games if needed. The arena is being privately funded.
David Crisafulli was very clear that the Olympics would be delivered within that $7.1 billion budget. They've already blown that out by moving the arena outside of that budget.
The Deputy Premier has also left the door open to the Gabba playing a role as a 2032 venue. That's if cricket gets the call up to feature in the Games.
Donald Trump may have declared the war with Iran has already been won, but attacks are continuing to escalate. The president has also approved the deployment of more than 1,000 soldiers from an elite airborne parachute division.
More American troops, we're learning, are heading to the Middle East to join the war with Iran. More than 1,000 from the 82nd Airborne Division. They will soon deploy to the Gulf. This as President Trump appeared to be already declaring victory.
This war has been won.
At the exact time he was speaking, we filmed this. An Iranian cluster bomb exploding over Tel Aviv.
We're actually talking to the right people, and they want to make a deal so badly.
For now, the war is intensifying. Israel today announced new, massive strikes on what it described as Iran's main production site for explosive material. U.S. airstrikes aren't slowing down either, hitting around 500 targets a day. And Iran is still firing on Israel around the clock. Some missiles getting past air defenses. This one destroying a residential building in Tel Aviv.
The missile hit the asphalt, making a large crater.
But back-channel diplomacy does appear to be taking shape. Pakistan today offered to mediate between the U.S. and Iran. Two sources telling NBC News in-person negotiations could happen in the coming days. But not everyone wants a quick exit. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu says Israel will keep attacking Iran and Lebanon until Israel's aims are achieved. And Saudi Arabia's de facto ruler, Prince Mohammed bin Salman, has told President Trump that Riyadh is concerned about leaving Iran angry and capable of continuing to strike its neighbors in the region, according to a senior Saudi official.
Meantime, a huge fire at one of America's biggest oil refineries has been put out. The blaze at the Valero Port Arthur plant in Texas was triggered by an explosion. It took firefighters 9 hours to get it under control. The cause of the explosion is under investigation. The refinery processes more than 400,000 barrels of oil a day. Concern is growing in one of Brisbane's most sought-after suburbs about a rise of violent assaults involving school kids. With video footage circulating social media, parents fear teen thugs are getting away with little more than a slap on the wrist. Rachel Baxter has this exclusive story.
Good afternoon. Bulimba is one of Brisbane's most expensive suburbs, but for the past 12 months there has been a series of assaults involving local school children here at Memorial Park. This video circulating at several local and prestigious private schools shows a young girl assaulting another girl in broad daylight. Then there's this. Last Friday, a 16-year-old boy assaulted by a group of males on Oxford Street around 8 o'clock at night. Some of these incidents remain the subject to police investigations.
It's a slap on the wrist, but they're going to carry on until actually something more serious happens. It's glorification. In the case of certain things, they're setting up cameras to film this. They want it to be out there. They want to be famous.
They need to be educated at a school level to know that that's not acceptable.
The parents and the locals in the area have had enough, where we want a safe community back.
Several local private schools have told 7 News they weren't aware of the incidents, given that the children weren't on school grounds. A Brisbane doctor believes an insidious online influence, the so-called manosphere trend, is partly to blame. It encourages young men into acts of masculinity and misogyny to be posted on social media for clout.
15 is probably like your main demographic.
No, it isn't.
They hear that content, they think it's acceptable.
Tonight on 7 News, what every parent needs to know to keep their child safe.
Police have charged an 84-year-old man with manslaughter after the death of a 78-year-old man at an Aspley retirement home. Police say the pair had been involved in an altercation last month when the older man allegedly pushed the other. The victim fell and struck his head. He was taken to hospital but passed away. The accused is due to face court tomorrow. Married at first sight host Mel Schilling has passed away from cancer at the age of 53. Her husband Gareth Brisbane shared the news on social media, saying he had 15 years with his soulmate and it was a privilege to have been by her side. Mel had been in remission from colon cancer before the disease spread to her lungs and brain.
I was ignoring the signs for such a long time, and of course this is not unusual. Definitely my energy had dropped, but I was having such incredible gut pain, literally doubled over and shouting in pain.
Tributes are pouring in, her fellow host saying, "My heart is shattered and it's not fair that my partner in crime is gone. She was one of the good ones." NASA has unveiled an ambitious timetable to build a promised base on the moon. As Rob Scott reports, the space agency is budgeting almost 30 billion Australian dollars for the mission.
After years of talking about it, NASA now appears to be getting serious about setting up a base on the moon. Almost 60 years after Neil Armstrong walked on the lunar surface, NASA wants to take one giant leap further.
This time, the goal is not flags and footprints. This time, the goal is to stay.
Jared Isaacman, the new Space Administration chief, outlining plans today for the first human outpost beyond Earth.
NASA once changed everything, and we're going to do it again.
But to build the lunar base, work on Gateway, a small space station that NASA had planned to launch into lunar orbit, will be suspended. The components, expertise and the funds that were destined for that project will now instead be directed to the moon base, which will be built in stages.
We will invest approximately $20 billion over the next 7 years and build it through dozens of missions, working together with commercial and international partners towards a deliberate and achievable plan.
The announcement comes about a week before the launch of NASA's Artemis II mission, sending astronauts around the moon and back for the first time since 1972. And if setting humanity up for life on the moon isn't adventurous enough, Isaacman also today unveiled plans for a nuclear-powered spacecraft to Mars by the end of 2028.
In a moment, the new campaign pushing government to help find a cure for a devastating blood cancer. And sperm whales caught on camera butting heads.
Seven News, connecting you first.
7 News can reveal the government will strengthen laws.
Connecting sport.
The Broncos are engulfed in fresh drama.
Connecting Queensland.
The Australian Baton will join 73 others.
We connect people with people.
7 News, connecting you.
A high-profile delegation from Myeloma, Australia is in Canberra appealing for funds to find a cure. They received some good news, but there's still a long way to go. Nick McCallum reports.
Myeloma patients and doctors went to Canberra to plead with politicians and bureaucrats to take the incurable blood cancer more seriously. During his meeting with them, Health Minister Mark Butler announced a revolutionary medicine, L-Rexfio, will next month be put on the PBS for some advanced myeloma patients.
Which we think will save around 300 patients $5,000 a script.
A welcome breakthrough, but still.
If we want to realise the real benefit of this technology and other related technologies, we need to bring it much earlier in the treatment path for patients.
Myeloma Australia also released a report stating the disease costs Australia over $7.1 billion a year in health and well-being expenses and lost productivity, and claiming $132 million from government over 5 years for research and treatment would save $1.5 billion over the same period.
That would be a no-brainer in terms of an investment. So we're here to talk about an investment in the cure processes.
Awesome foursome rowing legend Nick Green also in Canberra. His wife Titmus has been battling the disease for 10 years.
It's now time for the wider community to be aware of it because it does have a significant impact on families and communities, and there is a significant cost.
It's a very, very tough market at the moment, Nick, and there are so many charities and so many deserving charities, it does really stretch the dollar, but all we can do is keep tapping away and hopefully things will turn.
Myeloma Australia describes this as a more aggressive approach to government for funding for a cure for this insidious disease.
Checking finance now, and the local share market has extended its rebound, helped by a possible peace deal in the Middle East. Here's James Towell from ING Bank.
Good afternoon. The Aussie market has rallied for a second day in a row, with investors holding on to hopes of de-escalation in the Middle East conflict. The ASX 200 jumped about 155 points, or roughly 1.9%, marking its strongest performance in 6 weeks. Today's gains were fairly broad-based and led by the materials sector, especially gold miners, after the price of the precious metal snapped a 9-day losing streak. Local gold producers surged, with names such as Bellevue Gold lifting roughly 11%. Meanwhile, the energy sector was the only major laggard, as local oil and gas stocks dominated the losers column. Oil prices fell about 4 to 5%, with Brent crude back below that $100 per barrel mark. And the other key development for the day was the February monthly inflation numbers that came through. Slightly softer than many economists expected, though still well above the RBA's comfort zone. The release did help support the share market, but did see the Aussie dollar slip. Markets now easing their expectations of about a 60% chance of another RBA rate hike at the upcoming May meeting. And the Aussie dollar is buying about 69.7 US cents.
It's the kind of behaviour once fabled in Moby Dick, but now it's been caught on camera. Researchers have captured vision of sperm whales ramming each other with incredible force, but why they do it remains a mystery.
Legend and science rarely collide, but here in the Azores, they're crashing into each other with immense power. Scientists believe that in the largest sperm whales, blows like this could deliver up to 1,200 kilonewtons of force, roughly equivalent to the weight of 20 African elephants hitting all at once, bang on the head. Until now, only fictional sperm whales acted like this, most famously in Moby Dick, inspired by the 1820 sinking of the Essex whaling ship and reflecting contemporary fears.
While ultimately Europeans and Americans were hunting whales, they were actually terrified of them. You know, the popular press portrayed whales as monsters.
Battles with whalers are one thing, but this footage suggests whales fight among themselves too. Thousands of kilometres away in the Balearics, researchers observed 2 adolescent males surround a smaller female, ramming and rolling into each other, then striking her before she leaves the group against a soundtrack of clicking and buzzing, hints of complex communication, which could indicate sexual competition or simple play fighting.
Play in younger animals can mirror a more strongly antagonistic or competitive behaviour that will be then performed as adults. It really underscores how mysterious these animals are.
Mysteries once hidden from human eyes, but that drone footage gives us a new perspective on. An unprecedented insight into the lives of sperm whales, but this study only captured adolescents, and adults may behave differently. For now, the ocean still keeps many of this species' secrets.
There you go. Well, just ahead, is Celine Dion planning to tour? The superstar drops hints all around Paris. And beautiful blue skies across the southeast today. This is a look at Brisbane right now. It is currently 28 degrees. Tony has the forecast next.
Good afternoon, Queensland. You're watching 7 News. Checking the weather now, and we're seeing a lot more sunshine across the southeast today. As we move onto the satellite, well, we can see there isn't too much cloud across much of Queensland, just this band of patchy stuff, inland, not much rain with that. But over the course of the past day, we have seen plenty of showers along the coastal stretch, heaviest in the southeast and also between Townsville and Cairns. We saw one spot get up to 80 millimetres just south of Ingham in the past day. The reason for our mostly dry conditions, well, we have this low pressure system down off the New South Wales coast, dragging that focus for cloud and rain away and giving you slightly drier southerly winds here. Otherwise, we're seeing large waves off that system and hazardous surf warnings are current. Those waves will continue into tomorrow. Now, Cyclone Narelle has just reformed and likely to intensify tomorrow while straddling the WA coast, potentially getting back up to Category 4 by late tomorrow. Then eventually likely to move south with some impacts, rain and possible wind around Perth around Saturday. And another one, we have a cold front here moving over southern states, bringing some instability for New South Wales and pushing hotter air towards us. Now, we can see that instability on the capital city forecast here. Storms on the way for Sydney and Canberra tomorrow, possible severe cells. Melbourne and Hobart looking cool and 18 and 17 with some showers, and Perth wet on Friday and potentially windy on Saturday. For northern Queensland, a sign that the season is changing. Mostly sunny skies along the east coast. Cairns and Townsville 30 and 31 degrees. Mount Isa still up to 35. Over southern districts, plenty of sunny breaks amongst that little bit of patchy cloud here and there. Heating up even further inland. Longreach, Charleville and St George all tracking for 36 degrees. In the southeast, call it a mostly sunny Thursday all up, though there could be some thicker fog and cloud inland early. Temperatures continuing to climb, 20 up to 32 degrees in Brisbane, then hotter and windier on Friday before a cooler change. Katrina, full details coming up at 6.
Thank you very much, Tony. Well, hopes are growing that Celine Dion may be set to go on tour again. I'll get that out. The French-Canadian singer hasn't performed since the Paris Olympics and had to cancel her last world tour because of COVID. Sarah Jane Bell reports.
Proof once more that Celine Dion's love for performing will go on and on. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but it does appear that the singer might be preparing for a comeback even as soon as September. There's been cryptic clues popping up around the city in Paris. In fact, signs with the titles of some of her songs, including The Power of Love and My Heart Will Go On. The famous singer has also posted on Instagram an array of photos of her in the city of love throughout her life with the caption, "I don't know how to tell you." We are hearing that it might be as soon as the end of this month that this comeback concert is announced, in fact, on her 58th birthday. The last time we saw her perform was, of course, actually at the Paris Olympics on the Eiffel Tower, and it was incredible. So it would be fitting if the comeback was there. Her last tour was postponed during COVID and then actually cancelled as she dealt with stiff person syndrome. So again, this has been something that fans have been looking forward to for a very long time, and something that she herself has in fact pointed to in the past.
Well, that's Queensland's afternoon news for this Wednesday. Stay with us now for The Chase and then 7 News at 6. I'm Katrina Blowers. Have a fantastic night.